Hello, and welcome to your stimulus check and your stimulus package update as of July 28th, 2020. Well, to get started off here, we're basically sitting here waiting for the Republicans to actually put something good in their version of the stimulus package, and we know that's not going to happen because the Republicans only want to spend $1 trillion on their stimulus package, whereas the Democrats want to spend $3 trillion on the stimulus package. So let me put it to you this way. You could think of the Republican stimulus package as the minimum you'll get, and the Republican stimulus package as the maximum you'll get. I mean, I don't know, you might get somewhere in between. I doubt it, but we'll see here. I mean, to tell you the truth, stimulus checks have been approved, and if it gets passed by the House and the Senate and the President, you can expect them to be sent out maybe early August to late August. The only difference is the Republican and the Democrats have differences of opinions on the whole stimulus check idea, and that might cause a bit of issues with both of them. I mean, they both can agree on one thing, that the cap should be remaining the same from the CARES Act to the current act of $75,000 or less to basically get $1,200 or $150,000 for married couples. The only difference is the Republicans' version only gives you $500 per dependent, and you can claim adults. The Democrats' version gives you $1,200 per dependent, and you can also claim adults. So those are the only two differences on the whole stimulus check idea. And as we know, 2 months ago, the Democrats passed a bill through the House called the HEROES Act that would have provided Americans basically with a second one-time payment of $1,200. It would have also provided with hazard pay for essential workers, an extension to the pandemic unemployment assistance, and much, much more. That's been sitting on the Republicans' desk for over 2 months now. And yet they still can't decide what to do with the current stimulus package that is thought up by Mitch McConnell, which is the HEALS Act. And I hate to say this, but the HEALS Act, how's that healing the economy? Well, okay, let me put it this way. Well, no, actually, I'm right. How's that going to heal the economy? Because without the people, there is no economy. Correct? I mean, think about it. The small people like me and you out here that are struggling and suffering every single day, will him and his fellow Republicans like to just beat around the bush and play games? I mean, how's that healing us to help us build our economy stronger than it can be ever? I mean, they're not healing us. They're just hurting us. I mean, like I said, for instance, we'll use the PUA for a good example of how the Republicans' minimum and the Democrats' maximum goes. The Republicans want to cut the pandemic unemployment assistance down to $200 per week until October 5th. Then after October 5th, then you get 70% of what you made before the pandemic hit. Whereas the Democrats want to extend the PUA until January 2021. And after that, see how it goes. I mean, I don't know about you, but $600 compared to $200. I know money is money, but in these tough, trying times, $600 is more greater than $200, and will go a lot further in helping people hopefully try to pay rent as well as make sure they have food for their families. And like I told you about the stimulus check idea, the two versions from the Democrats and the Republicans. The Republicans are being cheap and chintzy, and the Democrats are trying to be a bit more generous to people and show them that they care. And also talking about the HEALS Act, the eviction protection that is currently in place until the end of this month from the CARES Act will not be included. So we're going to have a lot of people being out homes at the end of this month because they don't want to provide eviction protection for those people during these hard times. And let's put it this way here. Oh, and state and local assistance won't be there either, because they're saying that the $150 billion that's still left in there of money left from the CARES Act can be used for state and local governments. They do want to include $100 billion for schools, but what good that'll do when there's a lot of schools out there and $100 billion isn't going to go that far. Let's see here. I hate to say it, the state and local assistance that they don't want to include in their version is going to cause a lot of conflict between Democrats and Republicans, because Republicans think that the state and local assistance is very important. I happen to agree with them. It is, because it helps keep all the state and local workers that are actually working. You know, it keeps them working, basically. The Republicans, because the Republicans they basically don't want the assistance to given out to state and local governments because there's still money left from the CARES Act. Well, why don't they just reclaim the money from the CARES Act and then reinsert it into the new act, add a bit more money to it for state and local assistance, and then problem solved, right? Mitch McConnell said the Republicans won't pass any bill without liability protection. Well, this sort of puts the Democrats back against the wall, because they're saying that they're basically want liability protection for big business and special interests. Chuck Schumer, said that the Republicans' version of the act is very stingy, and the negotiations are disappointing. Schumer said that there is no money for food stamps, but there is a tax deduction for 3 martini lunch for businessmen. So we're going to let people starve. Well, the businessmen go out there and get a tax deduction for a 3 martini lunch. How does that work? I mean, we're going to let some businessman that's making a buttload of money go out there and have a 3 martini lunch and get a tax deduction. Well, we're having some person out there that is basically starving and probably going to be living on the streets by the end of this month, gets nothing. How helpful is that? I mean, please get rid of all these tax deductions for the rich. They don't need them no more. It's just so disappointing. He also wanted to say that there's also cushions for the defense contractors, but none out there are being used for the eviction protection, for the people getting evicted, basically. There's no cushion for those people. So we're probably going to be looking at like 25 million people, if not more, being homeless, and also seeing their only source of income being diminished to $200 a week, and after October 5th, being diminished even more, because after October 5th, the $10 a week disappears, and the person's pay for unemployment goes to 70% of what they were making before the pandemic. And they also want to do a lot of reckless spending, basically. I mean, Trump wants to build the new FBI headquarters by his hotel so his competitors cannot use that space. Isn't that funny? The Republicans will give hundreds of tax cuts to the richest of the rich. They will provide trillions of tax cuts and stimulus packages to millionaires and companies, but they will delay for week after week because they're against the $600 a week for the good people who are struggling to survive. So, I mean, I'm trying to tell you basically how it is with the Republicans. They don't care. They don't care about the people. They care about the business over the people. Oh, what? You're an employee? You're expendable. But this business has to stay forever. What they don't realize is that big business wouldn't be a big business without the employees inside it. No employee is expendable. The company can crash and the person can go find a new job. How about that? How about we crash all big business? Because if you think about it here, on the virus front here, the company out there that's actually trying to make the vaccine for the COVID-19 that's coming out, he says that the vaccine is going to cost $3,000 per injection. And keep in mind, this is also on the Republican side, so that's why it's going to cost $3,000 per injection if it passes. Whereas on the Democrat side, they want to be able to provide the injection to the vaccine for free for everybody, whether you have insurance or not. So I'm not trying to smack talk the Republicans or bring up the Democrats, but these are the facts that come across my eyes and my ears and that I think you should be informed about because this is very important. Steve Mnuchin wants more stimulus checks to be sent out to the people. Well, our good old friend Mitch McConnell says, oh, well, one stimulus check will do them good. That should help them get them back on their feet. Yeah, that's right. We're going to get a stimulus check for, $1,200 for single people, $2,400 for married, and we don't know about what is for dependents yet. So a one-time payment of, we'll say, a married couple with no dependents. $2,400 is going to last how long with paying rent, paying food, and other bills you have to have? Whereas we know all the Republicans have already said that if the American people are having such a hard time, why don't they sell their cars and sell their property and do this to get money to feed their families? Whereas the Democrats is like, here, we want to try to help them out. We don't want them to sell their property that they spent years getting to acquire. We want them to keep their property so it can be passed down or, or used for more elaborate uses. I mean, come on, you can go sell your car. You're not going to get a whole lot for it, but then you get evicted. Well, how are you going to get around without a car? Oh, and how are you going to get around without any money if you only get a one-time payment of $1,200 or $2,400 for married people? So I say when the elections come up this year, our best bet is to let these Republicans know that they're slacking and they're wasting their time, and them letting people die is much appreciated by not putting him back in office. And one other final comment before I let you good people go is, think about it here, right? The Republicans have killed over 140,000 people because they've been playing games and they've been waiting since the CARES Act came out. And you know for a fact that if it was any of us out there that did that, we'd be in prison, if not worse. It'd be called premeditated manslaughter. How can they get away with manslaughter, but yet we can't? That doesn't seem fair. Where's a law that's supposed to put them behind bars and say, look, you killed a lot of people. Now it's your time to do your time for your crime. That's not fair. Not fair to us at all. And one other thing is, if you guys like my content, please hit that like button. And if you wish to leave comments, please feel free. I welcome any comments. And if you want to see more of my content, please hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you will get all the content I send out. And until then, you guys have a fabulous Tuesday, and I will broadcast you again tomorrow of any new updates that may arise or may not happen. Who knows? We'll find out because it's the Republicans after all. Until then, you guys have a fabulous Tuesday. Bye.